Hey guys, it's Ashley and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm bringing you guys a book review and it is for A Wrinkle in Time by Madeleine L'Engle. I actually don't have the physical book because I listened to this on audiobook, which was actually pretty cool. I like listening to audiobooks because a lot of the times like the characters or the person that's reading will do different characters and different voices, so I think that's pretty cool. So I like that I read this one, and it was actually a short read, so it only took me like a couple of days, and that's just because I was listening to it in my car. If I had listened to it all the way through, I probably could have done it in one day, but that's besides the point. It only took me a few days to read it, and yeah, it was great. I gave this book a 3 out of 5 stars. I feel like maybe it would be like a 3.5 or 4 for me. It was a very good book. It was cute, but it was kind of confusing for me. I was confused a lot of the time. I like to say it was like cute but weird, which I've heard that it's kind of had some like backlash on this book. Apparently at one point it was a fan book. I know a lot of people that were like the groups that were like burning Harry Potter books had burned this book at some point in time just because I think people didn't quite understand it. They felt like the elements weren't really, age appropriate the way that she made it. She made it for a younger audience, but people felt like it should have been for an older audience, which I don't agree with. I think it was great at the age group that it's meant for, but at the same time, I'm an adult and I was a little confused, so part of me kind of understands that. She brings in a lot of like religious elements and magical elements, and I'm pretty sure that's why a lot of people were upset, combining those two things. But I don't think it was done in a bad way at all. I think, it brings a lot of science into your thinking and, believing in yourself and believing in a higher power and all of that. I think it brings all of those elements in together, but not in a bad way, not to where they're clashing or anything like that. It's just, all molded together. So I didn't think it was bad. One of the reasons that I didn't give it, a higher rating was just because I felt like it moved really fast. I felt like the storyline, even though it was a good storyline and a good plot, I felt like things were just moving at a quicker pace. Like things were happening and I felt like there could have been more detail, I guess you could say, in certain scenes to make it like elongated just a little bit longer. Yeah, I just felt like it happened really quick. Things were happening too soon, too quick. Like I think certain parts of the book could have been elaborated more. But I say that and a lot of the elements were elaborated. It's very creative, and in my mind, the imagery that I'm getting from the book is, very imaginative, very whimsical, I guess you could say is the word. But at the same time, I feel like, it could have slowed down just a little bit. I actually didn't realize that this book was one of 5 in the series, like it's a quintet. I didn't realize that. I had only heard of A Wrinkle in Time growing up. I hadn't heard of the rest of the books, so I kind of want to read the other ones, the other 4, to see how they are. I think it's like a continuous on story, but I know A Wrinkle in Time is the most popular one. They are creating that movie. Disney has a movie coming out. I think it comes out March 9th, I want to say, or March 20th. One of those days. It comes out in March, and I definitely wanted to read the book before the movie came out. I like doing that. Although at the same time, I have a hard time of comparing while I'm watching the movie, like, oh, that wasn't in the book, or, oh, that could have been different, or something like that. I'm really bad about that, but I did want to see, or I did want to read the book before the movie came out. The trailer for the movie looks really good. They have an amazing cast. They have Oprah. Oprah is in this movie. Like, it can't be a bad movie if Oprah's in it, right? Right? I don't know. But yeah, they have an amazing cast for the movie. Chris Pine is in it. Oprah, Reese Witherspoon, Mindy Kaling, Zach Galifianakis. Like, it looks pretty good to me. I don't know. Okay, so the story plot of this book is little girl Meg, her dad disappears, and it's been like almost 2 years since his disappearance. He was a scientist, and his group was working on like this time traveling elements and all this stuff, and he was sent off, and at first he was sending letters back, and then all of a sudden the letters stopped, and so basically her dad just has vanished, disappeared. They don't know where he is, but she believes he's still alive. His mother believes he's still alive, and She has 3 younger brothers. She has twin brothers and then a younger brother, Charles Wallace. Charles Wallace is, he's the youngest. He's 5, I want to say. And they keep saying he's just different. And it's funny to me that that's the word that they use. Like, he's different. There's no other way to describe him, but he's super smart. He knows all of these things, and they said for the longest time, like, he didn't speak until he was almost 4, I think they said, and he's like a genius, basically, but he knows all these different things. So, you know, they meet the 3 witches, Mrs. Whatsit, Mrs. Who, and Mrs. Which? Is it Mrs. Who? Is that the other one's name? Oh. But it's the 3 witches, and basically Charles Wallace knows that they're from another world. They're from somewhere else. He knows all these things, and Meg's just like, what? How does he know? Like, I don't know. They just keep saying he's different. And when things happen and he asks a question, they're like, Charles Wallace, you know why. Like, how does he know this? How exactly does he know? I don't know. But yeah, so it's Charles Wallace and Meg and a guy that's in Meg's school named Calvin, and they all come together. They're coming on this adventure with 3 witches, and they're going in search of her dad. And, you know, they come across all these different worlds, and they're trying to explain, you know, this thing called the Tesseract, which I love that it was called Tesseract, because I used to be a teacher, and I had this, like, blue cube in my room, and I called it the Tesseract from, like, the Avengers and all of that. So, like, hearing it in this story, even though I know this is much older, I kind of love it. Just, it, you know, was great. But, you know, the Tesseract is this time-traveling thing, helps you travel through space. And it's, what did she say in the trailer? So he's like, you're like bending time, and she's like, more like you're wrinkling it. So you're like traveling to millions of light years away in seconds, basically. And, you know, they're in search of their father, trying to find him, trying to find where he is. There's this darkness. She has to become the light. I love Meg's character. I think she, you know, she's very smart. Her best subject is math, which I absolutely loved. But she, you know, is getting in a lot more trouble once her dad disappears, and she's having a hard time in school. And they point out a lot that she's very anxious. A lot of things make her anxious, you know. Even though she's on this adventure, she's very hesitant about all the things that they're doing and coming across, which part of me, I don't quite see that in the character from the trailers of the movie. I don't see her as anxious as they portray her in the book, but, you know, maybe they didn't want her to be as much in the movie, so, you know, that's completely fine. But, you know, she's super smart. She's just really hesitant, and, you know, she just wants to be there for her family. She wants to find her dad. She's, you know, looking out for her little brother. She now has this friend Calvin who's also there that she's trying to look out for, and, you know, basically she just wants the best to happen. She wants all good. She doesn't want the darkness, and basically the witches are telling her, you know, you gotta be a light, you gotta believe in yourself, you gotta believe in the good, and all this stuff. I don't know, it was a great storyline, great plot, you know, some great elements, very creative. You know, when this book came out, I think it was published in the 40s, or in the 60s, it was published in the 60s, and apparently it almost didn't get published. Like, publishers were not having this book, but at the time that it was published, you know, I think it was a lot different from what kind of things were coming out, and very imaginative, but I think it's so creative and so just, I don't know, it's a whole new world, basically. It's just exploring the universe and the science behind it. And I heard that the author, Madeleine L'Engle, she did a lot of research, like Einstein's research and all that. She read a lot of background stuff, you know, trying to give her that science element, and she basically was just putting it all together and creating this universe that, you know, could possibly really be out there, you know. And I think it's super cool in a super imaginative way that she put it together. In my head, I see a very whimsical world, and seeing from what they've created for the movie, I think they'll, you know, really do some justice to it, and I think it'll be great, honestly. So like I said, overall, I gave this book a 3 out of 5 stars. I could give it 3.5 or 4. Honestly, it really was a good book. Just for me, I just feel like it went too fast, and I I think I would have wanted more, but now that I know that it's a quintet, you know, maybe I can get more of that from the other books. But I definitely recommend this book if you haven't read it. You know, I think it's been a requirement read for some schools. I was never required to read it, and so that's why I've waited so long in life to actually read it, but it was really a good book. I think I really would have enjoyed it as a kid, and I think a lot of kids will enjoy it, a lot of adults will enjoy it, and honestly, I can't wait for the movie to come out to see how, you know, it does the book justice. But if you guys have read this book, please let me know down below what your thoughts were about the book. I love hearing other people's opinions about books, so please let me know down below what you guys thought of it, what you guys think the movie is going to be about, or how well you think the movie is going to be, and, you know, just let's have a discussion. I don't know. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button and subscribe down below if you haven't already. I would love to have you guys here so you can see more of my videos. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys next time. Bye!